Hello YouTube, my name is Nero, TV some more Call of Duty World War II. Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. Today I want to talk to you guys about supply drops here in Call of Duty World War II because Sledgehammer Games is slowly but surely making them worse, and I worry that as the game goes on, this system, which has been more fair than previous years, is going to become less and less consumer friendly. For the sake of this video, I am going to be opening up a bunch of resistant supply drops, so keep in mind I didn't spend any money on them whatsoever. I've just been saving them, and ever since the event started, I've been doing my daily contracts, my daily orders, and of course getting a bunch of them for playing matches, because of course they're given out randomly after a match is completed. So over the course of the past couple of months, Sledgehammer Games has added a ridiculous amount of stuff to the supply drop loot pool. We started off with outfits, weapon variants, pistol grips, calling cards, emotes, and experience bonuses, and since then they've added emblems, which is frustrating because we can make the emblems ourselves. They've added armory credits, which is even more frustrating because typically when you get armory credits from a supply drop, it's such a small, insignificant amount that it would have been better for you to have gotten a duplicate rather than just actually getting armory credits. And the worst thing of all, recently they started adding reskins of previous calling cards that now have a gold banner around them. We're not talking about new content whatsoever. I can fully admit that some of the calling cards you get from supply drops are actually awesome. I see a lot of people using them, but what Sledgehammer is doing is they're simply taking those pre-existing calling cards and adding a gold border around it, putting it in the supply drop loot pool, and calling it new content, which is actually disgusting if you ask me. Like, I can see them maybe taking some old calling cards that weren't animated and then make them animated. That'd be worth it, but right now, no, they're just adding a gold border. It's actually really disgusting. We're only 3 months into the Call of Duty World War II life cycle, and we've already had 2 big events, which is typically a good thing, but because of those new events, they've added a ridiculous amount of new content. Winter Siege and Resistance have added a combined 40 pistol grips, 33 calling cards, not counting the gold bordered ones, and 75 emblems to the game. Because of this, and the fact that event items don't go away after the event ends, supply drops are so packed full with filler content that it's incredibly unlikely you are ever going to get something you actually wanted. I can only speak for myself, but to me, the only content in supply drops that is worth getting would be weapon variants and character uniforms. So you can make an argument, I suppose, for certain calling cards, but by and large, I really only care about weapon variants and character uniforms because these are cosmetic items that change the most important aspects of my character, right? How he looks and how his weapon looks. Everything else I would much rather earn or create myself. I've made my own emblem. I will occasionally use a DLC calling card, especially when an event is live, but I would much rather use a calling card that I earned, like the Kilroy one or the one I got for getting to Prestige Master. And when it comes to pistol grips, I mean, they're a cool idea, but because we have so many of them and they can only be used on secondaries, which aren't a very big deal here in Call of Duty World War II, they pretty much are just an afterthought for me personally. There's so much filler in there that I don't get excited when I open a supply drop, and the more I talk to people about this, it seems like everybody else is starting to come to the same conclusion. It's like, yeah, they were cool when the game first came out. There's a lot of cool stuff that we got in there, but now that we've gotten a lot of the good stuff, most of it's just filler, and most of the time, we're really just opening up supply drops so we can obtain some armory credits. At the end of the day, I suppose we can't be too upset by this though, right? Because it's what we wanted. We wanted supply drops to be cosmetic only, and so far, that's what they are. But we do have some weapon variants in there that can give us access to post-launch weapons, and those same weapons can be obtained other ways through the Quartermaster and through Major Howard. So it's a relatively fair model. It's just really frustrating that we have to rely on random chance to get other things that we want, whether that's heroic variants or heroic uniforms or special calling cards or what have you. Maybe I'm a bit old-fashioned, but I really liked it back in the day when you could work towards the things that you wanted, and with enough time and skill, you could eventually obtain everything in the game. Sledgehammer's model started off pretty fair, and we were able to get a lot of good stuff when the game first came out, but as they add more filler content to the game, it's only going to get harder and harder to obtain the things that we still want to get, especially since we can't pursue specific variants or pieces with armory credits, right? Remember back in Modern Warfare Remastered, if there was something in that game that you wanted, you did have to rely on random chance, but eventually you could get it if you saved up enough of your depot credits, right? But here in Call of Duty World War II, if I want to get the Noble 2 version of the Gewehr, which in my opinion is like the coolest looking variant in this game, I have to just get lucky. A lot of YouTubers have already done videos breaking this down, but on average, you have about a 2% chance of pulling a heroic item from a supply drop. You then factor in all the different types of heroics that are in this game. We have heroic calling cards, stars and emblems and pistol grips and uniforms, and then we finally get to the weapon variants, the chances of you getting what you actually want are incredibly low, and there's nothing you can really do about it. I suppose the saving grace of this system is we are talking about cosmetic items. We're talking about skins here, whereas back in Black Ops 3, the only way to get new weapons was from supply drops, so it's a little bit better, but it seems like they took one step forward by making it so we can get weapons easier, but they took 2 steps back by making it so pretty much everything else is completely locked behind RNG. Unfortunately, I don't think supply drops are going anywhere. Every single year, they rework the system, but at the end of the day, supply drops are there. They have been part of every single Call of Duty game ever since 2014. This is actually the 5th straight game to feature them, and ever since Call of Duty 4, we've had 7 COD games without supply drops and 5 COD games with supply drops. They are becoming as much of a mainstay here in the Call of Duty series as kill streaks and prestige mode, and for a lot of Call of Duty fans, I'm sure plenty of you guys watching this video, a lot of COD fans have never experienced a COD game that didn't have supply drops. I do not see Activision stopping the system anytime soon, because for them, the majority of the content is cosmetic, therefore not very hard to put together. Pretty much every other game under the sun is doing the exact same thing, so they have a reason to continue doing this. And for a lot of players, this is something that doesn't really get discussed a whole lot here on YouTube, because we're all like so anti-supply drops, but for a lot of people, earning supply drops gives them a reason to play the game. There's lots of people out there who have fun signing in every single day, doing their contracts, doing their orders, getting their drops, and seeing what they get. It's also incredibly profitable for Activision. They haven't released a ton of information, but with Black Ops 3, they made more money through supply drops than they did with map packs and these season passes combined. That's a freaking ton of money right there, right? Not to mention, and this is combining a couple of other games, but in 2016, of all the games that Activision owns, they made over $3.6 billion from supply drops from Call of Duty, Overwatch, and a couple of other games combined. So I really don't see them doing away with supply drops. We just have to sit here and hope that they continue to improve the system to make it more consumer friendly. Credit where credit is due. I love that Sledgehammer Games updated the model to make it easier for fans to get new weapons if they put in the time. But the problem is with this new system, it's quite difficult to unlock new content if you're a casual player or if you're somebody that just picked up the game today. Like, we don't think about those players too much, but hypothetically, if you just started a new account today or if you just started playing the game today, the chances of you getting the Volkssturmgewehr are actually pretty low. You have to wait basically for the order to pop up at Major Howard, and they have like 8 total weapons in rotation there, so you have to wait an entire week for it to pop up in the rotation. You then pick up the order, you complete your 50 multiplayer matches, and if you're not a super hardcore fan, who knows how long that's going to take you, and by the time you're done, who knows what weapon's going to be available in the rotation next. It may actually take you several weeks to get these new weapons that you want, so the system right now it's decent, right? It's not the worst supply drop system we've ever had, but it could definitely be a lot better, and I'm worried that instead of it getting better, it's only going to get worse as the game gets older if Sledgehammer Games doesn't step in and make some changes. In my opinion, they need to stop adding pointless filler for the sake of adding pointless filler. I understand why they do it. They want to make it so as they add more cool stuff to the game, they have to add an equal amount of crap stuff to the game, so your chances of getting the good stuff are lower, so that you're therefore more likely to actually buy supply drops. But when you're literally just copy and pasting calling cards and adding a gold border, that's a really scummy and lazy thing to do. Please don't do that anymore. They need to rework Major Howard's order system before they add more weapons to the game, because otherwise that system is going to go from being very consumer friendly to incredibly unconsumer friendly, and they really need to find a way for fans to be able to pursue the things that they want with armory credits rather than just having a small select number of things available over at the Quartermaster. What do you guys think? Are you happy so far with the supply drop model here in Call of Duty World War II? What changes would you like to see? I'd love to hear all your thoughts and feedback down there in the comment section below, but those are my thoughts on the supply drop system here in Call of Duty World War II, now that we're 3 months into the game's life cycle and some changes have actually been made. But once again, guys, I'd love to hear your thoughts and feedback down there in the comments. I hope you guys will enjoy this video. Drop me a rating, and I hope you guys all have a wonderful day.